Hey everybody, Brian here. I am back today in Detroit, Michigan, taking a look at the latest version of Android Auto, version 8.6 Coolwalk. Now this is the third major visual change for Android Auto since it first came out way back in 2014. Yes, Android Auto has been alive since 2014. It first debuted on the 2015 Kia Soul, and now we are in 2023 with the Gen 3, which I'm calling it Gen 3 because visually this is the biggest change we've had since the second major change in 2019. So from 2014 to 2019 to 2022, 2023, we've had three major versions. This is the latest one. Let's dive right into the changes. To see how to connect your phone to your car for the first time, of course, just like my last video, you can either plug it in via the USB port that's provided, or you can connect it via the Bluetooth of your car, and that will wirelessly get everything set up for you. Once you have it set up, this is what you'll be greeted with when you open up Android Auto for the first time. We now have this widget style view that is more in line with what you see in Apple CarPlay. It basically allows you to see more information at once. We start off with 2/3 of the screen showing your latest or last used navigation app, and the right third of the screen showing the last used music app. In my case, that is going to be Spotify and Google Maps. If you are a Waze user like I am, you will have to wait a little bit for the support to come for this widget view. For now, if you go into Waze, you actually can only view it in the full screen mode. There is no way to click this and go back into that split screen look. You'll have to wait because an update is coming, but stay tuned for that. There's a new app that comes from the Weather and Radar app on the Play Store that actually allows you to pull up a full Doppler radar of your current location. So as you can see, I'm in Detroit, Michigan. You've got the surrounding areas. You can zoom in and out. It's a little slow to respond, but it does show you more information than the basic weather button does, because the weather button on here, like I showed you in our last video, just asks Google Assistant to read out the information. Here you actually get a visual look at what the weather is doing in your vicinity. You also have some temperature readouts here on the major cities around the area. 29 degrees here in Detroit right now, so that's a neat new feature from that app. I like to see more of those coming, more interesting ways to interact with the car. You also still have the game snacks, which I showed you last time, so that is still fun. Generally, the apps and the core of the system has not changed too much. It's really the visual layout. So here now we have those suggested navigation destinations right there. I can just click home and that'll take me right home. After a while, those do eventually pop away and disappear. But for now, I do just like that we have all these things at once. The one thing that I do miss, however, is the fact that we used to have a widget for your music on the menu bar down here that allowed you to quickly play and pause whatever you were listening to. They have moved that over here, of course, when you have it in this view. But let's say I go back to the full screen Google Maps. There is no longer a play pause button there on the bottom or over here on the left side of the menu bar for me to just quickly play and pause the song. I do wish they had somehow figured out a way to keep that around, but otherwise I do really like the update. And the wayfinder for Google Maps is now, thank goodness, in the center of the screen. Even if I click it full screen, it doesn't shift over to the right like it did on the last video I showed you. The final thing to note about this update to Android Auto is that with these changes, the system can now support much wider screens. It can support taller screens. All of this widget action going on here is meant to apply to whatever aspect ratio of screen you're working with. So if you're in a Ford product with one of its more vertical oriented screens, that will fill out those areas a lot better in terms of what it shows you and what it can display. It's not going to be as awkward as before. If you have one of the wider Hyundai Kia screens, it will actually fill out the entire width of the screen, including your maps. That's going to be it for me. This is a pretty quick update. Honestly, the things that needed to change, changed. I really love the new layout, but the things that didn't need to change remained the same, and that is perfectly fine with me. Let me know what you think of the update down in the comments below, and stay tuned for the next time Android Auto is updated. I will, of course, bring you another video on that as well. Take care.